Interesting times. Interesting times. Um, Let me refresh the page though. Let me refresh the page. But here you have a lady. She tweets here. She says, "How do men in jail have women submissive to them, but the dudes are here crying? Something needs to be studied." Well, Undead Chronic has kind of gone over this kind of stuff. Uh, Unfortunately, when you leave women up to their own devices and you let them do the choosing of men, they seem to pick, and when they're in the prime of their lives, they seem to always pick criminals. I don't know what this is. Um, you can we there have been, I probably have explained this logically in the past, probably last year, but but we'll just let it play, because here you have, let's see, you got a woman twerking for this dude while he's behind the wall. Yikes. When she come and see me and she wears sundress, I be going stupid. Yeah. Let me turn down the music. So you see him doing an air lap dance, and like I said, you'll see some of the most loyal women be having their dudes be in jail, in jail and in prison. And let's look through the comments though. Let's look through the comments. And let's look at the explanation. He said, because men in jail don't got shit to do but give undivided attention. Unfortunately. But like I said, especially particularly in the black community, like I said, it don't matter if the girl has degrees up her yin yang. This is what I've been trying to tell people. People want to talk about high value man and, oh, I need a man that's 6 feet, 6 figures, and I'll say, yeah, but especially when we're dealing with sisters, bottom line, they're just looking for somebody with strong D game. Everything else is negotiable. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. And what happens is they end up going for quote unquote bad boys, right? Quote unquote criminals, quote unquote drug dealers, right? Because of the danger element, the freedom that they have, right? So Aaron Clary talked about this the other day that I heard, right? So a lot of women, they'll say, I want a rich man, but they don't really want a rich man. They want somebody just to spend money on them, right? So because if they really want a man with a certain type of money, a lot of things they would have to actually have responsibility over, meaning they couldn't just spend money just to spend money. If you're with a rich dude, it's just you there's still you still have responsibilities over that. And women don't like being audited, right? By their own husband, or especially if he already has money and she's being audited by her own husband, she's gonna be like, nope, I'm out, right? So when you talking about those criminals, right, or the drug dealers, right, they kind of have a flexible time clock. They just give them paper, and they'll just give them money, and they can give them their undivided attention at any time. It's like, you know what I mean? Especially if you're dealing with women that are coming from a community, they don't really understand what a man with means or money will have to do, what they actually have to do, the time that they actually have to put in to get to a level to have those certain means. They're just used to seeing drug dealers and certain people having those means, and it's people that have criminal records, their undivided attention, having a certain different time clock. They're not used to seeing say like a doctor or lawyer or whatever, blah blah blah, all of that, because those people, once they end up having they get that kind of education, they get that kind of status, they end up going outside of the community and end up finding a spouse outside the community. So they end up leaving that community. So they don't end up staying and being the example how they used to do it, like back in the 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Before the 70s and 80s, right? like before the 70s and 80s, where the doctors and the lawyers, they would still stay in the community somewhat, you know what I mean? Or when they would leave the community, they would end up forming certain communities where it's still predominantly black, but full of predominantly black successful people. So they will be the example. You say, I wonder what the guards be thinking looking at the security footage. Ooh, she talked about daddy and your baby. So she's referencing Mariah the scientist to Lil Thug, to Young Thug. So this is okay. He said the case study needs to be on why ninjas don't mind giving up their freedom. But like I said, that's easy. People always wonder why are black men are only going to be athletes, or it's either that or street ninjadom, or they act like they're part of one of the other. They perpetrate being part of or being connected to people from the industry, meaning singer, rapper, athlete, or criminal activity. The reason why is because most of the women in that community flock to these people. They don't flock to the average Joe. They don't flock to the doctor. They don't flock to the lawyer. They don't flock to the, you know what I mean? The actual real people of our society, you know? So they're seeing, like, if you're a black man and you want to stay in your community, you want to have a woman within your community, you're not, by the time you hit 28 and you finally are where you need to be, or 30, you finally and you're looking for another 28, 29-year-old, you're getting a product that's been ran through by the streets, dog. And she's most likely gonna not only being ran through by the streets, she's also gonna be having kids. She's most likely, I'm talking about kids from other dudes already. Hence why they end up leaving the community, end up look for something fresh, at least something civilized. You know what I mean? So that's what happens here. So men don't really see the incentive to work on themselves to be somebody legit if they're not a musician, right, athlete, or a criminal. They feel like there's no point. He said, she keep on with that behavior, she won't be able to visit again. He said, I'm embarrassed for her. He said, listen, those men in prison apply a different type of pressure, and these ninjas in the free world lack. But yeah, like of course, like unemployed dudes and guys coming from prison give the best sex, right, and the mental stimulation because they have nothing but time. Now, if you're a man on your purpose and you're trying to make money out here, you're just not going to have that kind of time for your girl. Oh, right there. They said the comment right here. He said they got nothing but free time. You know, and I don't think that's the right way to go about it, is because they're better at sex and whatnot. But I don't think that's the smart way to do it. But like I said, this is what happens in a so-called matriarchy that you have ladies saying that we need to be on. He said, if you meet a ninja while he locked up, you on some loser ish. This is true. Let me see. While this part of it, she was locked up, he wouldn't even mess with her. He said, girl, go home, stop. Oh, right here. He said that undivided attention and imagination is something serious. Hence why, you know, those men in jail and prison, they'll be with their girl over the phone or whatever. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm about to marry you when I come out. And they just fall for it, you know, because at that time he's not lying, but he's just full of shit because he's in jail right now. That undivided attention. This is why when we talking about female COs and female prison guards, you're like, why are you working that occupation? It's because of that undivided attention that they can get, because by being one of the few women in there, that attention that they get, it's everything. Meanwhile, he got a BF waiting in his cell who be doing the bending. Everybody always mentions that Tyler Perry movie. Oh, so you doing the bending? That scene is priceless, dog. That scene is priceless. Oh man. But like I said, it's not really, we've gone over this. But this gives a this one I didn't really want to talk on the, just the specifics of it, but we kind of already know the answer to this. But I wanted to show you, what the commenters, had to say about it, But anyway, man, what are your thoughts on it? Hit the like and subscribe button if you like the content. I'll have a outro thing for it sometime soon this year. I don't know. I'll probably have to pay somebody to do that for me. Anyway, man, thank you.